AfroCentric is a black-owned, diversified investment holding company with its major investment being in healthcare administrator Medscheme. AfroCentric has a market cap of 1.6 billion rand, price-to-earnings ratio 8.4, dividend yield of 3.2%. AfroCentric, I'm going to get you, Sasha, to kick off the discussion on this front.
Yeah, and Medscheme, of course, has more members than any other medical aid in the country. And what's quite attractive about it is they've got big corporate clients. I think where the growth is here in that specific part of the business will be to do small bite-sized acquisitions in the surrounding areas. And what I mean by that is north of our borders, so across the rest of the continent, because that they've indicated as much. There's a big shareholder in the community investment holdings, so they're well represented on the board. Brigilia Baum, I think, is the chair lady. She must be touching about 80 or so, but she was there right at the beginning when who started this business? Marty Sachs and Maya Khan. So, you know, none of the board getting any younger, but I think this is kind of their project. This is what they want to take ahead and maybe, you know, make a difference in people's lives from a medical aid point of view. So don't count out the big brains. Plus also, isn't Brian Joffe there as well as a non-exec?
Well, this sounds like a really enthusiastic story, Viv.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. I mean, we say of a diversified investment company, just to give an idea, I think about 80% of the company is in this particular area. The other parts are, I think, Jasco and a small JV with Rio Tinto. So just look at the medical scheme as being the number one area. One area of concern, of course, if you have a South African-based medical scheme, is the big elephant in the room, the national health insurance coming down the line. We don't know exactly the structure of it. You don't know
but this could have wide-sweeping implications across the board. Are you nervous, Viv, on this front?
Yes, I am a bit nervous, especially when you don't have a clear idea when something this large is going to come into play. I mean, the numbers being talked about by government are not in the tens of billions, it's in the hundreds of billions. You know, we're talking about an incredible change in not just the structure of the healthcare sector, but maybe in the structure of the economy of South Africa, because your taxes are going to go up, it's going to change just a great deal about, it's really going to be a huge expansion in the role of government in society. And something like, for instance, the Medscheme here is going to be really exposed to it, because not knowing the exact structure of this huge plan coming forward, one may not be aware exactly how it will affect the company.
Well, Sasha, I suppose we must just dwell on that for a moment, because if we do see national health insurance coming in, I mean we are, it's not if, it's when we see it coming in, is it going to affect the investment case across this private healthcare environment?
You know, ironically, and you must remember that some of these South African businesses, I think in the last set of Mediclinic results, they were working closely with the Lesotho government on a JV that they had there, a public-private healthcare, and that was working quite well. They had, in fact, shut a South African operation, so that kind of doesn't tell you that we're moving in the right direction for them. But I think at the end of the day, common sense will prevail and the private sector will be net beneficiaries. It's whether or not individuals like ourselves and the viewers will be paying more for that insurance. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, this is not a discretionary spend sector. This is a sector that people say, okay, I have to service these bills at the beginning of the month, every month, because something you don't play with is your health.
All right, so AfroCentric, hot or not, Viv?
On this year, it's still hot, but just the huge caveat, the national health insurance is something to keep an eye on.
And Sasha, hot or not?
The liquidity is a massive problem in this one, Bronwyn, and because there are lots of chunky shareholders, but could have the potential to have a big, you know, I think you've got to sometimes in business back individuals, and I think in this case, I'm going to go hot on it.
Are you backing Brian Joffe?
Well, not just Brian Joffe, the entire team, you know, I mean, they've got years and years of experience.
I agree, back the individuals.